Because in either game, life or football, the margin for error is so small. I mean, one half a step too late or too early, and you don't quite make it. 1/2 second too slow, too fast, you don't quite catch it. The inches we need are everywhere around us.
Hell yeah.
They're in every break of the game, every minute, every second.
Trying to make $1 out of 15 cents, and hopefully we'll try to be interesting, and we'll grow together. The thing before I start, I was just watching on CNN on the way out. It was weird. There was a group of people that were protesting, I guess, the way they're treated on Spirit Airlines. Literally, I just caught a glimpse of it. I didn't read an article or anything yet. And it's so weird to see people act a certain way that literally nowadays you mess with the TSA, you're going to do jail time. And for them to nonchalantly potentially throw their lives away, start out with a felony and all the other stuff that comes with it, I think it's a sign of getting an opportunity to get a bunch of likes. I mean, that's when I do like conventions or something. If I'm selling a product, when it's all said and done, we might get 100 followers, 100 likes, and we spend a lot of money. I mean, we campaign, and it takes we're moving a small city in some cases, and so these people now, they can get thousands of followers and likes, etc., just by a potential being in a potential situation. And I think that's I'm always saying dangling a carrot. That is something that people are seeing. They're like, yeah, I'll take that chance. It beats the hell out of spending $10,000 and doing a show somewhere. And though it's not for a company, it's for their personal gain. But every generation has what they value, and obviously this generation values the likes and the attention and followers. And I'm that way too. I have a company, and what do I want the company to do? I want the company to grow. But I'm doing it the old-fashioned way. One person, try to convince one person at a time, and then you're in the right. And that goes with a lot of things. Is anytime you're trying to force your beliefs on somebody to try to strong-arm them, you may not be in the right, and it may not work out well for you down the road. And getting into dating, if you're trying so hard to get somebody to like you, okay, sure. So they'll turn their head your way, and they'll be into you a little bit, so you think, because you're doing this and you're doing that. But are you going to do that the rest of your life? No. My advice would be, you want to be yourself. Find somebody that is head over heels for you. That way you don't constantly have to, do parlor tricks, the rest of your relationship. Sure, you want to do that anyway, just because you always want your foot on the gas pedal, but you don't want to. It's like I think of these movies where these guys just woo this girl, and it's like if she's out of their, typically out of his league. Well, now guess what? If the guy doesn't have what it takes to get her just in his natural state of being, then the rest of his life he's going to worry about, oh, she cheated on me? Oh, did she find somebody else more interesting? More this, more that? And well, it's always good to have that attitude a little bit. If it's going to make you miserable, you got to remember, why are we getting in a relationship to begin with? It's to have solace, to have somebody to share things with, to and all the other things that come with it. But if you're so paranoid all the time, and you're worried all the time about your spouse, then it's maybe that's not it's not why you got in the game to begin with, if you really think about it. But anyway, for teenagers, what I've noticed, and I tell my kids is, you don't, somebody else is dating your wife right now, and you're dating somebody else's wife, and what it means is when you're young, odds are that's not the person you're going to marry. So, you want to find a group of people to where you could kind of, see girls, get to know girls, find out what you like, and guys, and what have you. It's because, if you start, okay, you're my wife, I want to marry you, let's move on. You may not be ready, have the mental wherewithal, and even if it is the person that you're, let's say, eventually gonna marry, you could ruin it before you even get started. So there's that aspect of it. But I say, why get so serious? Because as soon as you get serious, then at a young age, now it's when things don't work out, and the friendships are awkward. If it's at your work, it's awkward. The lighter you can keep it, the better off you are. And people are like, hey, well, why am I gonna? If I'm not gonna date her, why would I want to be with this girl? Well, because then you get to know her network, other people, and let's face it, you want to see a lot of people to find out who is your soulmate, quote unquote. And then as you do, start to develop feelings or whatever, it's just, for me, it's tough because I'm, as you know, I'm a religious guy, and I am totally into my wife. And the reason why I'm into my wife is I started, I was married before, but when I got remarried to my wife, I just said, look, I'm starting from scratch. I'm not going to think about anybody else. I'm not going to dwell on it like, anybody's capable of. And what happens is you if your wife or your spouse eventually becomes the person of your dreams, then guess what? You get to be with the person of your dreams. And if you are jaded in this world where it's a constant, change and this, that, and the other, sure, it's going to bring you temporary joy, but guess what? You're not going to be satisfied with your wife. So eventually, when you find the person that you're going to marry, you want it to be somebody that you are totally into, that you could keep that intensity up, and vice versa. A lot of kids, they go for it too young, and when I say young, is you don't have your, it's not financially, it's you got to make sure the other person is ready too, and there's a learning curve, probably in your early 20s, to where maybe it'll start planning out a little bit. But I think back in the day when we hear about, oh yeah, so-and-so got married at 16, they stayed married. I think it's because couples had a lot more grit back then. So I think you have to consider all things, where now it's kind of taken us a little longer to grow up because we don't have to grow up. So it's that may be a reflection on that. As you get older, they say find somebody that is into your thing. If you're a rockabilly, find a girl that's into rockabillys or what have you, and you'll have your group that is you already have something going for you. You don't have to try to be anything. If that's what you're doing, that's what somebody's into. Don't try to change yourself just to reel somebody in, because then later on, when the real self comes out, it is going to be a little bit awkward. There's a saying, it's called, you're being a poser, or a wannabe. So I would just that's when you want to be yourself, unless you're having a bad day, then fake it. But for the most part, just be yourself, and then you will attract the person that you want. And just like selling a house, you only need one buyer. It's not like you got to attract 100 girls. You're looking for the person that you want to spend your time with and grow. So just, you got to be smart about it, just like anything else. I think when you start dating and people, there's a rush to everything now. You're acting like a married couple right out the gate. I think the problem with that is if you're having sex with the partner right away, there's automatically a give me. You're gonna stay with that person just for that until that wears off. So you've just given yourself a couple months delay of, okay, is this person right for me? Should I stay or should I go? Because you got to get over that hump, no pun intended. And once you're kind of, everything just kind of gets normal and you're desensitized, now you're really looking at that person and you're like, maybe this not going to work out. Well, now it makes it difficult because now you just bonded with the person a little bit more, so there is going to be that attachment that you normally wouldn't have. That's easier to break up. Where now it's harder to break up because let's face it, you're acting like a married couple at that point. And then moving forward, your spouse is going to know. They'll find out everything you did, and it's especially for the younger kids, younger women. There's a saying. It's, if you have a piece of furniture and you're in an antique store and somebody comes up and says, how much for this little table? And you're like, what's it worth to you? And they're like, you look and see how much you have in your pocket, and like, $20. Guess how much that table's worth? $20. You just set the value of it. You didn't care. But if somebody walks in and says, how much is this table? You'll say, well, this table right here was made by my great-great-grandpa who worked for Abraham Lincoln, and Lincoln said he needed a desk to write his letters on, and he wanted it to be the perfect height for me, and I wanted a drawer for me to put letters in when I'm angry that I will never send out. So therefore I will never burn any bridges, but I will vent. And that's why there's an extra drawer in the bottom. So essentially it's priceless. The person that walked in to buy that table, when he looks at this table, he will say, my gosh, this person values this table more than anything. How much is that table worth? It's priceless. To the guy that just walked in, the $20 in his pocket, he knows he's not even going to waste his time offering $20. That table is going to go to somebody that really appreciates it, and they'll spend a lot of money on it because of the value that you put on that table. And same with your sexuality. If you have no value on it, guess what? The guy, coming around, they're not going to have a value on it either. But if you put a value on you and you say, no, I'm worth this, I'm going to, wait for the right person, or just put it off as long as you can, you will increase your value. Your spouse will say, wow, you are more valuable, and this part of you is more valuable. That's just the way it is. And if you're the promiscuous type, the person that is not, the person that you may have a better life with, they will be it'll bother them, the fact that you're promiscuous, and they may pass, or during the relationship they may flare up because your past bothers them, and it's what you did is not as important as what you're gonna do. And I'm not saying if everybody has to be a virgin until they're married. That's not the point. The point is your attitude now moving forward. But yes, if you lived a certain way, let's face it, there's if you don't change your oil, start changing it now, but there may be some damage to your you may not even know it, but to your psyche a little bit, and because you are who you think you are, and you're your own. It's not what you did. It's just now you're your own worst enemy. You're going to feel a certain way, and am I a certain way, and that may affect you, and you may not feel like you deserve the person that's a square, so to speak, the person that you may feel like you want, but oh, I can't have that person.